What you remembered wasn't what you think. And why not croissant? Everyone laughs. One of the guests says, "Well, now that's a grandmother with a sense of humor." And without realizing it, he's just creating the only memory she will keep from the entire week. This moment seems insignificant, and yet... Welcome. Let's take a moment to understand. Julia is over 80 years old. She's living with Alzheimer's disease. She spends a few days at her daughter's house with family and with her grandchildren. A simple moment, a warm one. One evening there's a guest, a historian. The conversation is lively. Julia listens, she loves history. She follows along as best she can. And suddenly she joins the discussion with humor. The guest says, if they have no bread, let them eat cake. And why not croissants? Everyone laughs. The guest looks at her and says, well, now that's a grandmother with a sense of humor. Julie smiled modestly, but deep inside something happens. A small moment of joy, of recognition, of feeling that she exists. A few days later, she goes back home, 6 hours on the road, a long trip. When she arrives home, she seems a little disoriented. She says, I'm coming back from a long journey. Her daughter asks her questions, but inside Julia's mind, memories are blending together. Old images, fragments of the present, everything feels blurry. She only remembers that she stayed with very kind people. And then there was a historian, someone very interesting. And that's all. The grandchildren, the shared moment, the little acts of care, all that has disappeared, but that moment remained. And why? In Alzheimer's disease, memory no longer works the same way. What is emotionally neutral fades away, and what carries emotion stays. That evening, Julia experienced pleasure, recognition. Her brain released what we call dopamine, the messenger of pleasure and reward. And it was that emotion that allowed the memory to stay anchored. Not the dinner, the days spent with family, just that moment. So, should we constantly give compliments? Not necessary. What matters is not the quantity, it's sincerity. Because a person living with Alzheimer's disease remains extremely sensitive to authenticity. They perceive far more than we imagine. A genuine look, a sincere word, a shared moment. That is what leaves a mark. So, what Julia remembered was not what happened, it was what she felt. And sometimes that is where everything happens. So if this story speaks to you, stay with me, because together we can learn to see differently.